For decades, the only places you could legally gamble was Las Vegas and Atlantic City. Then little by little, casinos spread across the country. Now they're just about everywhere. So it was only a matter of time before the last remaining gambling sector would go mainstream legally. This week, the U.S. Supreme Court did just that, nullifying the federal ban on sports betting. That leaves it to states like Ohio to decide if they want it. 10 short years ago, there was no gambling in Ohio, except for the lottery and horse tracks. Then came casinos and racinos. Now both men running for governor say they are open to the idea of us betting our life savings on the Browns to cover the spread. Sam Gresham, how eager are you to do that, and how long before it happens?
Well, first I have to say I predicted this 10 years ago, that we'd have a glut of gambling. I think there's some points that are missed. This is an inevitable evolution of the need for revenue in the state government. This is inevitable. It was going to get there. Now, in the early stages, it's going to always overpromise and underperform. It's always going to do that. But there's some subtleties in this because of the domestic locality. You can do it in your state. I think there are two things we better watch out for. College athletics. I'm really concerned about what now happens to college athletics. I'm also concerned about if they don't compensate them young men and young ladies who are participating in college athletics. The people who are doing these bettings will.
Well, it's happening already. They estimate that Ohio sports betting is a $3 billion a year industry. Like 95% of it is illegal. Mm-hmm. So it's happening now. Mm-hmm. Will this change things much?
Well, I think that a way that politicians can kind of hedge their bets on this is that they can say, well, it's not that I favor expanded gambling. The climate is just such that we, the lawmakers, need to get ahead of a ballot measure which would be controlled by people we don't know, and they're outsiders to our state who would be setting our rules. We've seen it over and over again where some threat of a ballot measure comes forward and then the lawmakers act on something they haven't wanted to do in a very long time. So, and there is a valid point to it that if you control that process and you legislate it and put it into the revised code, you have more control in authoring that.
Recently with the two redistricting measures, one for the state house and one for Congress, and one for the congressional districts, just passed.
Yeah, but I think Sam's right. This is an opportunity for mischief, and it's the state encouraging and aiding and abetting dysfunctional behavior. We have 200,000 lottery addicts in the state of Ohio who each week bet 40% or more of their weekly income on lottery products. But I think what you're really seeing here for the gambling industry, the millennials, they don't smoke. Drinking's going down, and they do not go to Las Vegas, and they do not play the ponies. And so long term, their market's collapsing on them. They're trying to come up with new ways.
Jesse, will lawmakers act on this before it goes to the ballot?
So I think Julie's right that there's going to be some pressure from ballot groups to, make lawmakers go forward on this perhaps faster than they would edgewise. Reporters and we spoke with Senate President Larry Ophoff this week. He doesn't seem like he's in a huge rush to get moving on this. Lawmakers are meeting next week and then breaking until the end of November after the November election. And so if you think this is coming to your door immediately, I think you're going to be in for a wait.
There is a proposal out of Cleveland. Rick Lertzman, a Cleveland businessman, he's proposing a ballot issue, fall of 2019. This sports betting could go anywhere. Restaurants, bars, all around the state. But not only that, he wants to expand the casino gambling, the slot machines statewide, into restaurants. He basically wants to blow up the 2009 amendment and just say anywhere and everywhere.
So he's leaving out daycare centers?
You're right. But what's going to escalate it? West Virginia is positioning itself. Pennsylvania is positioning itself. Michigan hasn't done anything yet, and Indiana has. The pressure becomes when those surrounding states are doing this, and we don't have the goodies and the programs.
I think that's true, but we specifically asked him about West Virginia, and he was like, well, if West Virginia's doing it, we're fine waiting here. So I think if it's every surrounding state, that adds to that, but who knows? And I know Senator Joe Schiavone, who recently was running for governor as a Democrat, has introduced a bill or is introducing a bill to this effect. So it's something they're going to be talking about soon, but whether they're moving on it is another thing entirely.
Right, and it does become, when something like the U.S. Supreme Court makes a decision, then it is a war between the states over whether or not they want to expand or risk not expanding and have people leave the state to take their business.
You talked about millennials. Is the sports betting at a casino or at a facility so passé? I mean, you have fantasy baseball, daily fantasy baseball and football. It's all done online.
Yeah, but
How do you fit that into a state program?
well, that's definitely part of it. But for the millennials, they are simply not going to casinos, to racetracks, or anything like that. Going back to the other points, but made in very valid points. If it comes to Ohio, it will have to be tightly regulated and viewed not unlike how we handle liquor sales through state stores. And only in certain locations, brown bags, taking it out. In other words, make it as unsexy as is possible, but also put a huge amount of the money from that then directly back into gambling addiction. Because on one hand, we have advertising encouraging people to gamble, and so we are encouraging a dysfunctional behavior. Let's face it, that's what this is.
Right, and I mean, the interesting thing is, to your original point, the fact that both the Democrat and Republican running for governor are favoring this just shows how inevitable it feels to people at this point after all these years of fighting back against it.
But I think there's also going to be other questions other than just, will the state allow this? There'll be questions for, like, universities. Should professors be able to bet on the outcome of games where their students might be football players or something? So I think after the state makes this decision, there's going to be so many other parts of this to figure out.
I go back to my phrase, an opportunity for mischief here, isn't it?
Potentially.
I mean, and all sorts of things could explode this. The problem is that its availability and its proximity and the social implications of it surrounding you. Vegas was off somewhere else. This is right in front of you. And the people who are doing it are right in front of you.
But the casino on the west side, it hasn't lived up to the promises.
No.
It hasn't created the jobs, but it's created some jobs. But the prostitution, do we know of, has not come. The crime has not increased in that area.
No.
I don't know the stats on compulsive gambling or gambling addiction in Ohio. My guess is it has increased a little, but it hasn't been the gloom and doom that the opponents said it was going to be when they proposed it.
But Mike, that's always true. If you look at the availability of it, it is now everywhere. You can go and do gambling anywhere you want. It makes it insidious and hard to see because it's not like everybody goes to the domino place or everybody goes to wherever and you can't see the clusters. But it's worse now because the people who are doing it are really addicted to it. It changes the chemistry in their body.